This episode of the GSE podcast is brought to you by Fort Brand, not your everyday GSE provider. We go beyond belt loaders and bag tractors, offering tow barless pushbacks, de-icers, and airport maintenance equipment, all available on demand across North America and the UK. Whether you need electric units to support your ESG goals or traditional equipment for today's ramp, Fort Brand delivers flexible leasing with the option of full-service maintenance to keep your fleet at peak performance. When you partner with Fort Brand, you get more than equipment. You get expertise, reliability, and a commitment to keeping your operation running smoothly. Visit fortbrand.com to learn more.
This is Brad Compton.
This is Luke Brown.
This is Jeff Barrett.
This is Tessa Fasen, and you are listening to the GSE podcast.
All right. Well, this is Matt with the GSE podcast, and I am with Avro GSE today. And we are actually at the Fort Brand MCO location. For those of you who don't know, that means Orlando. And we are sitting in the conference room at our Orlando maintenance facility. And this will be the first podcast that I have recorded under the Fort Brand banner, and it happens to be at the Fort Brand location. So I really appreciate Avro joining me today. I have Caden Scott and Andrew Snare and Simon on the phone here. Andrew and Caden were nice enough to come to Orlando, and they're sitting in front of me. And Simon is on the telephone here. So, Caden, how's it going today, buddy?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Thank you very much, Matt, for having us on.
Yeah, not a problem. Andrew, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic.
Are you?
Yeah, the West Coast time change hasn't quite caught up to me yet, so we're kind of playing it a little bit by ear. But yeah, this morning feels great. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, not a problem. I guess I didn't realize that you were West Coast.
Yeah, I live in Portland and work out of Portland.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay. And then, so Andrew, how did you get started in the GSE industry?
Yeah, no, that's an interesting question. Probably a little more simple than some of the other stories out there, but I've always been in account management. So that's been my focus for the last 10 years. And an opportunity came up with Avro. Avro is a newer company on the scene, and they were growing rapidly. And there's this interesting opportunity to be part of something that's growing and actually help build out the client relations strategy and the account management strategy. And so that's what drew me to Avro. Is there's this one-time opportunity to really pick my people, set the strategy, sit down with the leadership team and make sure that we're all going in the same direction and to capture the long-term potential. And so I knew the GM there, and I knew the CEO of Saskark,
okay,
which is the parent company of Avro. And so that was kind of my way in. In 2023, we started talking. And then towards the end of 2023, we made the switch, and I formally came on as sales manager.
Oh, okay, nice. So no GSE experience, just account manager experience.
Exactly. So no GSE experience. My experience in account management had been almost in a project management role,
okay,
for professional services. So it was for a design build firm focused on basically Class A office fit out.
Okay.
And so completely different industry, but all the principles applied to setting up that type of organization and that type of department where we wanted to have very, very thorough reach. And we also wanted to have a strategy to not only really harvest what we had grown and expanded into, which was the ground handling market, but to also open the airline market up for Avro.
Okay, nice. And then how are you finding the GSE industry to be?
Oh, it's an amazing industry. I've never been in an industry like it. It's so niche and so small, and it's amazing how everyone's connected. So it almost makes our job simple.
Yeah.
If you've got the good products and the good services, it almost does the work for you in some regard. And it's been a pleasure meeting, yourself and so many other people at the GHI show, and looking forward to the GSE Expo coming up here in the next 4 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, man, for sure. And then we also have, as I mentioned, Caden's here, and I think everybody in the industry knows Caden. But Caden, how did you get your start in the GSE industry?
It's quite an interesting question. So it's a family business, and in 1991, my dad started Saskark, and we kind of added in 2011 a company called Axiom, which is like we manufacture light towers, generators, and that kind of lighting equipment. And then we were basically reselling SafeSmart, which is access equipment. So there's a lot of like maintenance platforms and all that sort of stuff. So we were already kind of dealing with some MRO and kind of in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 years ago, we decided, well, we're already talking to a lot of these contacts. Let's work on, let's set up Avro and, start selling GSE equipment. And I guess for myself, 7 years ago, I started at Saskark as just a forklift and welder in the shop, and did that for 3 years. And then I guess, then went into an office role for a couple of years. And then 2.5 years ago, I wanted to get into selling. And I was kind of looking around, and with Saskark, it's such a complicated, it's structural steel. It's such a complex selling. You really have to know the ins and outs of welding and struts and welders and all that kind of stuff. And so I came over to Avro, and actually Andrew was my boss for the first year. I actually joined about 6 months before Andrew.
Okay.
And same thing as what Andrew said is, once we kind of got into it and set the stage and all got aligned, I think it's very, very incredible what we as a team have set, and our vision to basically, because we kind of got into the industry just technically trading product. We weren't true OEM, so we were bringing in products and out of Indiana, out of Asia, white labeling it and selling it, which was working okay. But I guess from a quality standpoint, we saw a huge opportunity to, as we transitioned to OEM, to really improve that, because we were not happy with the level ourselves. And anyway, so that's kind of a brief introduction on how I was.
Okay, so in the beginning, Avro was not manufacturing things themselves. You were buying from other manufacturers, and then putting the Avro sticker on that, and then that was now Avro. Yeah. Now that has changed in the last how long?
Yeah, probably I would say a year ago we started the journey. Obviously, the tariffs really helped that, and the current government in the U.S., which I would say we're very thankful that it's pushed us to start this transition. But now we've set up, so we have a factory in Manitoba making our non-powered equipment. We have one in Minnesota making non-powered equipment. We have one in Estonia and one in Italy for making our ground power units. And then we still are using a lot of, we have a lot of, I guess, product coming out of Asia still that will be transitioning in the first quarter of the year into either Minnesota or Wisconsin. So, yep.
Okay, so are you just currently now manufacturing everything at Avro, or is there still some things that you're white labeling?
There is on some of it. What we've done, with the Estonia plant and the Italian plant, it's a combination where we've partnered with them and kind of co-engineered for the North American market.
Okay,
and so we've set up separate assembly lines specifically for us.
Okay,
but then our non-powered equipment and a lot of our tractors and stuff that's our own. Our non-powered stuff, I was talking yesterday with one of our plant managers, and we're able to now, our baggage carts, for example, we're able to go up to 85 carts a week if we want. So basically what we've done is we've set up quality product with factories that are able to really get volume. And that's kind of our key thing was, as we transitioned, we didn't want to do any low quality products. We used to do a lot of fixed axle baggage carts, for example. Now we're only doing torsion and galvanneal, just to try really bring the bar up, because it was just not aligned with our kind of corporate vision.
Yeah.
Selling that kind of product.
Yeah, that's interesting, because that was one of the first tasks that we were given from the Saskark leadership team or the Avro leadership team. The same thing, but they had asked us to reach out to every one of our clients and every one of our prospective clients. And we had a series of questions about the quality of the service we were getting, and this is going back to early 2024.
Yeah.
And so we did these calls, and I think we talked to probably 80 people in the industry and got all this feedback. And we kept hearing that they love the Avro team. They love the people. They love the attentiveness. There was large improvements that we had to make on parts and service. Then product quality was the other big thing that came up. And it seemed like if we fixed those two issues, that we would have lifelong clients that would continue to grow every year. But those two issues is kind of what kept Kaden and myself busy for the last basically 2 years. working through those corrections, resetting up the team on the parts and service. And the parts and service, Caden, you can talk about how much it's changed. I mean, before, there wasn't exactly the proper system. There was systems in place, but they needed to be refined and tweaked. And then we didn't have enough locations, so we were cross-border shipping. And so with tariff and custom delays, like or duties and everything, like there was unpredictability in that. And so that's really where we've been focusing on and course correcting. And then you can definitely see it as some of these bigger airlines are starting to use us. It's because they've had that experience and they've kind of seen that journey. And so that's kind of the whole goal is we're making changes, but how do we bring our clients along for the journey as well?
Yeah, for sure. And then I imagine that bringing on Simon was very important in that journey as well.
Yes. Simon he is absolutely awesome to have on the team, and I mean he can speak to it, but kind of along the whole journey is transitioning. He's probably the main guy kind of overseeing all of that.
Yeah, Simon, talk to us a little bit about what you're doing from the product development side.
Okay, so I'm Simon Livraghi. I'm joined Avro in April 2025. My background experience is in ground handling and manufacturing GSE. In my previous role, I was the general manager in BlissFox in Thailand, and I've been with them for almost 8 years. So with Avro, I decided to change my career and move to America, and here I am. Probably I'm a new face in this continent, but I've been in this industry for many years. My objective here is to expand the product range and establish manufacturing in North America. So I follow both of the non-motorized and the motorized equipment. So far, we got a very good stage of non-motorized. Was the first phase of our development projects. So now we have baggage cars, cargo cars, and dollies, and made in Canada. From the motorized equipment, we are coming up with new products. Some will be displayed in Vegas, like towable conveyor belt, also the GPU, the electric GPU, and the battery GPU. So the development now we see next year releasing new products that I can't disclose at the moment, but something good is coming up in January, and we will be able to disclose that at late fall this year. So this is what I'm doing. Of course, with my background and my experience in manufacturing, this helps a lot to speed up all this development process and open up factories and production line to start producing these equipment in North America.
Okay. And then, so recently, tell me if I'm wrong, but I know a little bit about Avro. So you all have recently come out with some new GPUs. You've come out with a new pushback series, the Titan series. Is that correct? Yeah. And then what else is sorry, go ahead, Simon. What were you going to say?
Yeah, we're coming up with a new baggage tractor series, diesel and electric. We're not in the phase yet to disclose so much. But this is a new product that is going to come in and is going to be fully made in North America. So as Kaden said before, politics or geopolitics push us into this project, and we are getting in there. And we believe the North American customer will appreciate a lot in this quality product development in the continent.
And just to jump on, I would say what Simon said, we were going to do it. It was in our 5-year plan, but obviously we've kind of compressed our 5-year plan into our 1-year plan, so to speak. But we're actually very, very thankful because what it really allows us to do, obviously it's massive investment, designing these products and setting up assembly lines and all this stuff. But just to even bring the quality and the level, the standard of the equipment up, when it's made right in North America is our core focus. Yes, we are doing exports and we have excess product availability, but it's just really enabled us to bring the bar up on our whole product quality and our parts and our service, and which we're really happy about because that's our long-term vision, is just to set up for North America and just hone in on that, basically.
So, did I miss where the location is in North America? Or have you disclosed it, or is it not ready to be disclosed? I can't remember.
Yeah. So we do have one in Minnesota right now, which is going good, and it's a lot of we have a lot of parts coming out of there, and equipment is there, and then we are potentially what Simon's speaking as to that will either be Minnesota or Wisconsin.
Okay, like another manufacturing facility. Yep. So the one in Minnesota currently, is that all non-motorized at the moment?
So actually, right now in Minnesota, we have two. One is basically just a PDI and parts warehouse where we bring equipment in that's maybe not made in North America at this point. Like, for example, the GPUs or whatever that we're making in Italy. So we'll bring them in, do the PDI, load bank, and test them before sending them out. Okay. And then parts. And then we do have for some of our lav and water carts made in Minnesota, about 40 minutes from our other location. Yeah, so it will, depending on where we do the tractors, that will also be a separate one as well.
So what is the second one that you were talking about? What are the capabilities of that Minnesota for the lav and water cart? Are you all just assembling there, or what does that look like?
Yep. So that is top to bottom welding and.
Oh wow.
Yep.
You getting in there and welding again?
Yeah. So I think the people wouldn't appreciate my welds. They want something that lasts.
Okay, got it.
That's one of the fascinating things, though, is that it's the whole strategic direction of Avro has changed. Mm-hmm. And when we're talking into the actual OEM process, for our bag carts, we're actually manufacturing our own components. So we're bending the metal in that plant to actually manufacture our own torsion axles. So before, we were having to actually keep a massive amount of parts in stock, which we're still doing. But also, when you're making the part yourself on the manufacturing floor, I mean, you've got the part there, you have the design, how easy to go out and grab that part from the manufacturing floor if you needed to. Yeah. Right? And so it's kind of coming back to the point where we're in control of everything.
And I think as we kind of look and as we leverage the whole core capabilities of Sasquatch Group, you might say out of the 4 companies that Sasquatch Group has, Avro is the smallest. But what we have is we have a huge financial backing that's basically allowing us to do these investments, but we also have a full network of very strategic partnerships. So, for example, these, as Andrew's saying, on the whole non-powered equipment, it's top to bottom, we're manufacturing it. There's 3 patents on it. The torsion axle, everything is built in-house. And what we did is one of our plants that is in Manitoba that's set up basically just to hammer these things out, that's the reason why we can hit these volumes. I know right now we're not running at 85 carts a week, we're running at about 50. But what's so incredible is, I guess, as we've got together as a team and aligned and all working in the same direction, is basically from 7 months, we had nothing to do with any non-powered equipment besides trading. And now we have one of the biggest production capacities that's in North America. It's tariff-free. We're shipping them globally now with flat pack options. And so it just kind of goes to show that as we really got together as a team and we're aligned, the transition and how quick it can happen.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. I can't believe that. So, so before you all were kind of, like you said, buying other people's equipment, reselling it. Now you're manufacturing it all yourself. And so I know that when I was with Exceed, we had some issues with some, very beginning product line right out of Avro. I think we supported you guys from day one kind of thing, and we had some issues. You were able to come in there and help us out, solve those issues, and then give us new product, and which was in the Titan series is I think what ended up coming out of that. And we've had only good positive feedback about the Titan, and you really took care of us, and so we really appreciate that, right? And we appreciate the partnership. And so how have you handled, because like you said, you went from white labeling products and now manufacturing themselves. How are you all supporting that stuff that was out in the field from the very beginning?
So
that goes back to my comment earlier about keeping a lot of parts in stock still. So we're obligated to support everything that's out in the field for basically the next 10, 15 years, right?
Exactly.
So it's a long-term game. Caden, you can kind of dive into the details on that.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting question, because I think, as you were speaking as kind of the the teething problems, you might say. Like when I first joined Avro, I was like, hey, we're going places where, this is looking pretty good. And it became very, very clear within a few months that there was very big issues in the parts and service side. And I mean, ultimately, we all know it's powered equipment. It's going to break, but how is it to fix it? Everything's going to break, but how easy is it for parts? How easy is it for service? And I think we really saw a huge opportunity to just dramatically increase that and expand that capability. And so, as Andrew said, like we're obligated to support it, but with cross-border as well. If you have parts in Canada, you ship them across, they could be in customs for 5 minutes or 5 weeks. You don't know, depending on if the guy, depending on how he's feeling that day, basically. But basically, we've added in our parts and service team this year alone, there's 6 people that have been added that are just outbound selling parts and service. And our parts stock has increased by over 15 times what it was at the start of the year in both locations. So if it's in the US, it will ship from the US. If it's in Canada, it will ship from Canada, just to avoid delays. And basically, we look at a piece of equipment, and if I call up an order of a part, I don't want to wait any time. Which we're not quite like we have a lot more stock coming in. But so by the end of the year, we'll get there. But so we have a very big inventory of parts.
Yeah, I remember what you called me about a year and a half ago, and we were kind of discussing the strategy with parts and where they should be located and what your vision was and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And then you moved on that almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting off the phone with you and I was thinking, oh, well, this is going to take forever to set up. And Caden had it done in a matter of weeks probably. But that's amazing that you're able to support. So from a technician standpoint, something goes down. Do you all have traveling technicians? What does that kind of like support group look like?
Yep. So we have roughly 4 of our own internal like Avro technicians, but then we also have a network in the US with third party ones that we will use. So we can dispatch our own if we think we need to, or if we can dispatch one of them and get on a video call or try diagnose it that way. But also a lot of our GPUs and all that stuff, it's all like telematics. We can go on our computer and diagnose it from Oxbow or Minnesota, or et cetera, sort of thing. So, yep.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. And then, like you said, part stocks, heavy, it's in the US, so it can ship out probably next day, get to wherever it needs to be.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's start talking about some products specifically. So I think when you all started, you did not have pushbacks. Is that correct? That's something that's kind of more recent. And is the Titan series your first kind of iteration of the pushback, I guess?
So we did start with one pushback. It was
Okay.
a basic. It was called the PT2690D.
Okay.
And so that pushback was kind of where we entered the market. We cut our teeth on that.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting so much feedback, like positive feedback on it, but also there's like little critiques from our clients. And it kind of speaks to the overall direction of the sales team, where instead of just calling and trying to sell product, when we started making this transition for supply chain, it's all about getting client feedback and bringing the clients into the process for design development and R&D and collecting that feedback so we can actually make a better product and bring the clients along for that journey. And on the PT2690D, there was just quite a few changes or request for change that came out of all that feedback. And that's what the Titan series is. It's our approach to capturing the feedback we got in the North American market on the PT2690D and then producing a quality product with all those features that were requested, like a different engine, for example, remote diagnostics, and then also different quality components within the actual cab itself.
And you look at that, the Titan PT350, for example, it's high speed towing capability. It's comes standard with transmission coolers, and it's a higher output engine than our competition. And I mean, we basically just, after, as Andrew said, like after getting customer led feedback, it's like, what are the things that is missing from our current product, and how can we, integrate that into our new products? And I think that goes to speak as to our whole product kind of portfolio. As we're launching products or new products are coming out, we're getting it's customer led feedback that's really, even on the design of these baggage carts and stuff, we had multiple calls with the engineering teams at American Airlines and other people that came in, and they said they were very heavily involved with just all the specs. And I mean, Unify, there's quite a few that were just, which I mean, is really kind of the way that we've broken into the market so quick, I would say, is just because it's actually what the people want.
Oh, I like that. What the people want. Is that the new slogan for Avro?
Yeah.
What the people want.
Yeah, it should be. Our new slogan's best on ground.
Oh, best on ground.
So
okay.
it's like we view it as a mindset.
Yeah.
So are we? It's an internal challenge almost. Like, are we showing up every day?
Yeah.
Are we the best on ground? Did we answer that email the best we could? Did we get back to that client the quickest? It's almost like a test that we all think about.
It.
Yeah.
Like, and with that, so like best on ground, that's kind of like our external. Everything can be measured off that, but internally, it's like we're on it. We're human. We're unstoppable. So yeah, we're gonna make mistakes. We're human, but we're on it. So we'll fix it. We're unstoppable. Just keep driving forward to make stuff happen.
Yeah. I mean, you all are always on top of it, I got to say. When I ask for quotes or when I make phone calls to you guys, you always answer. I can't say the same for myself because I'm always recording podcasts, but but you all are fantastic at that. So is it a full series of pushbacks? So you go the whole way up to wide body?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the special thing about the Titan series is that it has the right engineering approach. So we've got hydraulic coolers and transmission coolers. And what it allows is what Keith mentioned is like the long haul towing capability. So,
oh, really?
So you're seeing like some of the airlines now standardize on this unit, and we took that first step with Exceed on that demo unit.
Yeah,
in Tampa, but we're standardized in that capacity now with that airline, and it's because of that feature. So instead of spending hundreds of thousands more on a tow barless unit for the right application and for maintenance tows, this is the unit for that job.
That's incredible.
So it's very...
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's very, very strategically...
Caden should have done a better job selling that unit.
It's very strategically engineered.
Okay.
So we're actually solving a problem. And the problem in the industry is that if you take a standard pushback or tow tractor, that's conventional, and you start using that for long tows, you're going to burn the engine of the transmission. Sure. So that's our specific value for that application with this unit.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I'm glad I asked that question now because I had no idea. That's fantastic, guys. That's a huge issue that airlines and ground handlers are dealing with all the time. So way to go on that one. So how are the sales of those going in the U.S.? Pretty good?
Yeah, so we're sold out of all of our production for this year.
Wow.
So production is our constraint right now.
I should start putting in POs now. Is that what you're telling me?
Exactly. Yeah. That's why we came here today.
I love it. All right. So let's dive into the GPUs real quick. So that's kind of a fairly new product for you guys. Where's that being manufactured? What does the long term look like for that? And kind of go through that product line with me.
Yep. I don't know, Simon. Do you want to take that one?
Yes, for sure. Yeah. So just to give you an overview, our best-selling GPU at the moment still the diesel. And it's a product completely different to what our competitors have because the engine rotates at 1,500 RPM and is much lower compared to our competitors. And this gives an incredible advantage to the customer into fuel consumptions and into the reduction of noise on the RAM that today is a quite big issue. So that saving in fuel consumption is extremely high. And this is our key selling feature. And we have done this involving our customer and listen a lot to the customer voice. And this is what we do in our product development.
Yeah.
We have also another line that is the battery GPU. Today is very popular, taking over all over the world where there are power supply infrastructure facilities. And then to not forget the electric GPU, especially for the MRO and for airports where there is the proper power supply. So that is a complete game changer in our product range.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and then where's that being manufactured at the moment? I can't remember. Is that in Italy?
So the electric GPU are manufactured in Estonia,
Okay.
And sorry, I forget to say something about these GPUs. Their efficiency is around 96%. And what currently other manufacturers do, that their efficiency in converting the energy are around 60-70%. Even that is focused on the power savings. So this has been our core philosophy in designing GPUs.
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and then the diesel and the battery GPUs are in Italy.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha.
And even on that, I mean, we're now air freighting them over because we can't get them over here quick enough. And,
Jeez. Yeah.
So no, I mean, as Simon said, I mean, there's a reason kind of why they're selling so quick. It's he went over the efficiencies and of both.
So you have 90s, you have 180s. Do you have a 180 battery?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So there's one being air shipped. What model is it? It's being air shipped. They'll be in New York in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Sorry, that's a 90 diesel.
Yeah, 90 diesel.
Yep.
We're air shipping one in for a client to New York in 2 weeks. So maybe we can meet up there and do a little review on that.
Yeah. When's it land?
First week of September.
And where?
In New York.
In New York.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I might be able to make that trip. Who knows?
Yeah.
I have an
Going back
office
to
in New York
headquarters.
now, so I don't really have a lot of excuses. I haven't been up to the new Fort Brand office. Well, it's not new. Fort Brand been there. I have been there, but they were a customer of mine the last time that I was there, and now I work for them. So I do need to go and visit New York. Maybe I should I go see this new GPU that's just landed. So then baggage tractors you offer. I'm seeing a diesel baggage tractor. Is that the only power option at the moment? Is diesel, or do you have gas?
Yep. So we have gas, diesel, and electric.
Okay.
Yep.
And then with gas, what engine are you using?
So it is the PSI 2.4.
Okay.
But we do have the option for the Deutz 2.9.
Okay.
As well. So, yep.
And then electric, you're using lithium, or can they do lithium or lead acid, or?
Yep. Both. So we basically just set them up for whatever. We can drop basically any battery and yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, we're battery agnostic on the
that's
on the
nice
electric.
of you guys.
Yeah.
Y'all are the best. That's amazing.
Well, the lithium market's changing so quickly.
I know.
The pricing's increasing.
Right.
Like the batteries themselves are a massive chunk of the overall expenditure now.
For
when
sure.
you're talking about a tractor. And then, every company seems to have every airliner, ground handler seems to have a different approach on who they want to standardize on. And so we like picking partners that have great service on the battery side so that we can be confident that we can walk away and in one regard from that sale and know that they'll be taken care of on the battery after sale service and making sure that there'll always be diagnostics there or telematics and whatnot. But it's definitely a changing market for sure.
I'm glad you brought that up. So if I have a battery supplier that I want to work with exclusively, can I put that into your Avro unit, or do I have to go with the battery that you have selected?
No, we work with your preferred supplier for batteries.
But then if I don't have a preferred supplier, you all can help me out.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think as we have kind of learned from our past experiences, we had so much opportunity in the after sales areas, like going down every level of our supply chain, which has a lot of involvement from our C-suite, is like, what is the partnership like as far as even engines or stuff, like how easy are they to deal with? Because we want to be support from top to bottom. So we've been matching our level of what we want for after sales with all of our partnerships in the supply chain area, which is, I think as we've looked at it through that lens, it's really helped us bring that level up.
For sure. Yeah. And then let's dive in really quickly because you mentioned telematics. So same kind of question, right? Which is, do you all have telematics on your units? Like inherently, if so, which units do you have it on? If you don't, can I have you put, if I have a preferred supplier, put it onto your units? So I will let one of the two of you guys answer that question.
Yeah. No, we've got telematics on the Titan series. We've got it on the GPUs. And then it's an option on our other equipment. I think where we're going long term is to actually roll out a extensive platform for telematics and tracking. So we've partnered up with a company and it's in development right now to actually have a platform where our clients can log into and get all that data and have control over all that data and be able to track each unit and it's a way for us to diagnose remotely, but also it's a useful data point for our clients is kind of what I'm saying. So we're going to go in that direction of building that out more. It's somewhat our offering right now is telematics, and it's going to be, we've got remote access to that on the Titan series, and our clients have access to it, obviously, but we want to build that out and have it kind of a key feature across every product in our portfolio, every powered piece.
Nice.
So that's going to be like a end of Q4 rollout, I think is what we're thinking.
Okay.
We're in contract, but
so it won't be done by the
out.
expo.
No. Nope.
Man, that's sad. Oh, well. All right. The expo. What do you bring into the expo? Can you tell? If there's things you can't tell me, that's fine. But you can tell me like 90%?
Yep. So we'll have 2 GPUs, battery GPU, electric GPU. We'll have a cargo cart or baggage cart of a Titan PT350. And a lithium tractor, baggage tractor. Yep.
Gotcha. And then are you all indoor or outdoor? I can't remember.
Indoor.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh, that's big.
Oh, the sunburn I got last time was too bad. And I'm not.
We were all making fun of you behind your back. It was, he looked bad, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, that's awesome. And then belt loaders. Do you all have belt loaders?
Yeah. Yep.
You do? Tell me about a belt loader.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the gas belt loaders. So here's a little story. So
Oh, I love stories.
yeah, we were working with a ground handler up in Calgary going back about a year and a half ago, and they bought about 12 of our belt loaders. And this is a classic example of there were some things on it that just weren't working well, some different components, some maybe design features that just didn't match their spec. Anyways, they did this demo. They came back with the feedback, and we actually worked with the airport authority on some of the regulations and some of the features, developing those features. But we essentially had to go back into our supply chain and change like probably 8 different components on this belt loader. And we made those changes, and like those have had an absolute stellar run since those changes. Like we haven't gotten one call on parts and service for basically the last 18 months. But what that did is we actually changed the spec on all of our belt loaders going forward. So all that client feedback was captured in that product development. And now the client feedback has come. We've made the changes. It's been proven. And like now when we go out and demo a belt loader, it's got all those changes and clients love it. So it's kind of an example of like a rough go, like a rough start with like a, one client, but all that feedback's been captured in the last like 2 years. We've made those changes. And that's kind of what keeps the team at Avro absolutely pumped.
Yeah.
Is because we're in real time, we're making these changes and we're moving fast. But that's why the account management team needs to bring the clients along for the journey.
I mean, it sounds like the moral of this podcast is listen to your customers.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. On our first leadership session, end of 2023, we had all these outstanding parts and service issues. We had product quality concerns, and I remember the leadership team at Saskirk, we were all sitting around the table, and they like didn't tolerate it at all. Like the GM was put on the spot, like everyone was put on the spot as far as why there was even these issues outstanding, and it's kind of what drove a lot of the change.
Yeah. And I think like the Saskirk kind of influence with manufacturing stuff from day one, and just kind of how their parts and service experience and how they're like, I mean, even in maintenance there with all of their equipment. I mean, there's a very, very documented process for how do you just keep making sure the stuff is caught up on maintenance, that sort of thing. And they came hard, I remember. And since then there was definitely quite a few changes even on the management side at Avro. And I was just new there for 3 months, and it was definitely an eye opener.
Yeah. One of the key things is we basically flatten the structure.
Yep.
So everyone is accountable in the company. Everyone, we all work together as one team. There's not like a massive chain of command that people have to climb to get feedback to the top. Yeah. So I think the one thing that's really helped us move fast when we need to.
Yeah, I know when I call Caden about stuff, he listens. And that's important. People want somebody who actually listens, and then the stuff gets done almost immediately. So I will say that. I will give Caden credit there for sure. So what part of your product line really haven't we covered at this point? I think we got bag carts, we got dollies, we have pushbacks, belt loaders, bag tractors, GPUs. What else are you guys doing? Anything else, or can we not talk about it right now? Or I mean, what are y'all going after? Just like having a complete, a gate series here. I mean, is that what we're after?
No, so we're strategically focused on below wing ground support equipment. So that's our strategic focus. In the future, it's almost like we might.
Where's my air start?
Well, we can talk to Simon about
Where's
that.
my air conditioner?
I was gonna say, is Simon's
we have the air conditioner. Is in development, so we have the air conditioner.
Okay.
If you want one, we can get one.
Okay, so do we have 30 ton, 60 ton?
Yep. 110. Yep.
We have a 30 ton, we have 60 ton, we have 110.
Wow.
It can become hybrid. It can be plugged in the power outlet on the wall, and you can make it working without switching on the engine. So
wow,
it is a sort of innovation that would fit also use inside hangars or closed spaces.
Yep.
Okay, so those are currently in production, or those are ready to roll out at any time? What's the time frame look like on those?
Yeah, Simon's probably ahead of
they
us on
are in
this.
production, and we're going to start delivering them by spring next year.
Okay.
Not earlier than that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Look at that. I got something out of you guys at least, So I knew I'd break them down to the listeners. So nice.
So another quick story. Like this week, some guy called me, a customer, a very, very good customer, and said like, I'm getting an invoice for the parts, which is no problem because like the day we box the parts and put them on the shelf for the courier to pick them up, we confirm it. So the invoice will go out the next morning. But he said the issue is I'm also the same day getting a follow-up saying, have I received all the parts and have can you please confirm the packing slip and everything's correct? And he said like how can you expect me to do this when it's it might take 3-4 days to come or whatever? And so it's like that's you can't expect that. So within 5 minutes we had changed our process to 7 days first follow-up and receiving or on making sure they got all the stuff. And I called him back and he was just pumped that like he called, said there was an issue, and we rewrote our process, just changed that little thing, and he was like, "Whoa, that's awesome! Thank you very much."
Yeah, like I said, the one thing I'll give you credit for is you're all over it. When I bring something forward, like it just doesn't just go and nothing happens, right? Mm-hmm. Like you all always make something happens.
Yep.
Right.
And I think it's a testament, like the whole team, as Andrew spoke about, flattening the structure and focusing more on execution than just the whole hierarchy stuff. It doesn't work. There's too much red tape.
Yeah. So everyone is involved in the details. Mm-hmm. So everyone knows actually how to make the changes, how to do the things that need to get done. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of like the key difference, because before, when we had so many layers, there was like disconnect between actually how do you do something that maybe like an account manager's doing or someone else is doing on the team. Like how do you actually make that change? And if you're disconnected from the details, then it's actually hard to drive that change and make sure it's done right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that's kind of, I think that's been helpful, just to get everyone working on the same team in the details. Everyone knows what's happening. Everyone knows the process and how to fix things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. When am I going to get a tour of the facility in Minnesota? Is it ready? Is it tour ready, or are we got to wait for a new facility to open?
January.
January?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's when the next one's going to be set up.
Okay.
Yep. And they're probably...
See, I'm just slowly but surely, I'm pulling the string, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be January because we've got client commitments.
Yep.
Okay.
For delivery out of that facility in Q2 next year.
So will that be like the flagship facility, kind of, the one in January?
I think so. Like for the baggage tractors, I mean, we already have a couple hundred units that are booked that we have dates we have to hit.
Okay.
So it's kind of we have no option.
So are you spending a lot of time in Minnesota recently?
Yeah. I've spent a lot of time in Minnesota, and then Simon he's been spending a lot of time traveling, and it's exciting.
Where do you live right now, Caden?
In Oxbow, Saskatchewan. So it's a town, 1,200 people.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
And that is where, so it's actually 15 miles from the U.S. border. I'm a U.S. citizen, as my mom's from Michigan, but in that town, that is where SaskArc was started.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of why the
1,200 people.
Yeah.
That's a smaller town than I grew up in, which I didn't. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Avro picked it strategically. It's like if we pick a small enough town, we can own the town.
Exactly, right? Yeah. We're going to start an Avro town next.
We have to play our cards right.
Yeah, exactly. That's hilarious.
What about you, Matt? Where did you?
Yeah, so I grew up in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Took me a while to drop the accent. I've been working on that ever since I got out of college. I'm like, I got to get rid of this thing because I sound like a redneck. But not that rednecks are bad. We're not saying anything bad about rednecks. I love them because I am one. But I had to drop the accent for the podcast, right? So, but I think my town had 7,000 people, growing up. But my graduating high school class had 43 people in it. Okay, so. But I think only 38 graduated, but I mean, that's beside the point. But I went to a very, very small school. So, but, I probably had less people in my graduating class than you did, I would imagine. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I was the only one.
You were the only one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Never mind. Okay. I thought I might have you beat on that one at least.
The school I went to when I graduated, there was 15 people in the whole school.
What? That's crazy.
Well, what was the story about you? Because you were a sprinter, right?
Yeah, I was a sprinter. Yeah.
Yeah. And with that whole car, there was that car theft in that rental car. Or something.
Oh yeah. Oh, that is a good story. So yeah. So I started running track my junior year of high school, and I won state twice. Won my first year and my second year. So I was a 100-meter runner. And ended up, getting a track scholarship to college, academic and athletic scholarship, and ran the 100-meter. But anyway, so I didn't ever think it would come into use in my professional life. And I don't know why I told you this story, but it's funny that I did. So I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and the first day on my job, and listeners of the podcast will know that I worked for Enterprise because that's how I met Brad Compton, and that's how I got into the industry. But anyway, let's go back to day one. Day one, I didn't know the systems yet. You have to learn how to, use the computer system and everything. Well, I didn't know how to do that. So they were like, hey, listen, do you want to go out on a repo? And I'm like, no way. I get to go on a repo? And they're like, yeah. So a repo is like, go get a car that the person has stopped paying on. They defaulted on it. So I hop in the car with the manager, and we drive over to this guy's house, and she stops a couple houses away. And she says, so that's the car sitting in the driveway. We have the extra key. And what you're going to do is you're going to get out of this car and run as fast as you can, get in the car and drive off. So I was like, I was like a superhero, And so anyway, so she pulls up, and I grab the keys and I sprint. And as I'm sprinting towards the car, a guy comes out of this completely dilapidated house in a wife beater, and starts screaming and yelling at me, and I'm like, oh my god! And I hop in the car and I sped off. But see that my speed, if I would have been any slower, the guy would have got me. You know what I mean? Like this was his only mode of transportation. So anyway, so that's my story. And we usually end these podcasts with GSE stories. So this is not necessarily a GSE story, but at least the listeners get that story. So Caden, thanks for bringing that up.
That's a fantastic story.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a case study on why. That's definitely a case study on why you should be focused on sprinting rather than long distance.
Yeah,
because where in life will you ever use long distance?
Never. Exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. And my wife was a marathon runner. And when we met, I told her, I'm a runner. Right. And what I didn't specify that I was actually a sprinter, because I'm not a runner. Right. Like I went out for cross country, and I lasted one practice, and I was like, I'm out of here. Like this is ridiculous. I can't run the long distances. So
yeah.
So Caden, what is your GSE story? Do you have a good one for us?
Well, this is kind of before my GSE, before I was involved with GSE. But what I was thinking is, before I worked at Saskirk, I worked for a company called Sunset Concrete for probably 8 months. So I was a laborer, cutting rebar, driving the skid steer, doing all that stuff. And the boss there was a very old school. He would smack you around the chops if you needed to get stuff done.
Gosh.
And I mean, not physically.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I was like, is it smack you? That's all right.
Yeah. Just a little one.
Yeah.
No, But I was in the skid steer. I was backing up, and I lifted the bucket and turned around and went out. And he came up to the window and he said, "Do you have neck problems?" And I said, not to my knowledge. I mean, it feels like it's working pretty good. He said, from now on, you back up. You turn your head, whoop, and back up. And it was just one thing from that site. I've taken a lot of note from that guy and just how it's a long-lasting impression of how involved in the detail that guy was. And his work, he was a guy that everyone calls him. And I think that's just, kind of as Andrew said, into the detail that we're involved in. Like, it's just kind of you have to get involved in the detail. If you can't get the small things right, you're not going to get the big things right. Anyways, that's kind of a
dude. I love that. Yeah,
intro.
Yeah, no, I like
that
it.
I've brought.
I like how you tied it in. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just something that we brought from that I have a lot of respect for that man. And
yeah,
and
now you're still thinking about that today.
Yep.
So it must have meant something to you. So, all right, Andrew, you're up.
Yeah, I don't really have a good GSE story. I mean, the whole journey at Avro has been my GSE story.
Yeah.
Like there hasn't been one single defining, experience. Like I haven't repoed a car or like a GSE tractor or anything like that. So, but yeah, I definitely feel like my experience at Avro, I've only been there 2 years, but just that experience of starting with something and having to make continuous improvement. And then seeing the progress has just been awesome. It's been very rewarding. And I think it's been rewarding for the team as well.
Yeah, that's good. Simon, I think you're up next. You got a good GSE story for us?
Oh, I have 20 years of GSE stories. You need to just pick one. So let's say that in my journey, my good GSE story is that in my previous employment at BlissFox was I have two senior person in the organization that they've been in the industry. One just retired 3 or 4 years ago. That working in the GSE industry since 1984. So they transmit to me a huge technical background. That learning on the field, learning on the books, and learning really how to build good and quality GSE equipment. And I believe this is my good story because this kind of experience and background, you're not getting it so easy today, especially working on the field. And I need to say thank you to them. Maybe I can mention their name. One is Graham, he just retired a few years ago, and one is Steve, that's still in this industry.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great.
That's my good story.
Yeah, no, that's a great story. So it's all about the work, man. You know what I mean? And putting in the work, and you guys are definitely doing that at Avro. Like I said, the moral of the podcast: listen to the customer and building good equipment. So. Mm-hmm. What else do we did I miss anything? That's what I always ask at the end of these things. I feel like we've done a pretty good job covering the product line. I think you all done a great job of kind of explaining your strategy and trying not to divulge too much to Matt. But in the end, I got some stuff out of you. So did I miss anything though, Caden?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I mean, thank you very much, Matt, for having us on. And this is great. I was talking to Andrew on the way about, we've listened to a lot of these podcasts, and one of our directors probably 7 months ago said, you need to get on that thing. And here we are. So no, thank you very much.
No, thank you, Matt. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, this has been great. I always enjoy talking to you guys, and I appreciate the partnership. And yeah, we look forward to getting more Avro into our fleet, and also looking forward to seeing you guys in Las Vegas here very, very soon.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, we're excited.
Last question here. Do you all have any good little tchotchkes or anything you're going to be handing out at the booth? Anything that people should come by and grab?
Oh,
I think quite a few things. Yeah,
quite a few things.
Yeah,
yep, and some giveaways and
I've got an Avro backpack that's killer. Yeah. So I appreciate
that's gone through another level of R&D since we gave that backpack to you.
I have the latest one here.
Oh, okay. Never mind, guys. Listeners, I'm getting a new one. So
because we listened to our customer, they said, I like this. It's a great backpack, but there's a few things.
Okay.
Here we are.
All right. Well, I'm about to get the new one, so I'm gonna let everybody go because I'm excited now. So thank you all so much for listening to the GSE podcast. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the GSE podcast. We hope you found it informative and engaging. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with your colleagues and peers in the ground support equipment community. Your support is invaluable to us. We'd appreciate it if you could take a moment to rate and review our podcast. Your feedback not only encourages us, but also helps expand our reach within the GSE community. Keep an eye out for more episodes as we continue to explore the dynamic world of ground operations, bringing you the latest trends, insights, and stories from the industry. Thank you for listening to the GSE podcast. Until we meet again, stay grounded and keep pushing forward.